First thing we're going to talk about today is the NBA All-Star Game. So Team Giannis beats Team LeBron.
Wait. What
Team
did you
what?
say?
Team Giannis, sorry.
Team Giannis.
Team Giannis.
That flustered me. That flustered me.
We're good.
Team
We're back,
Giannis
we're back.
beats Team LeBron 184-175. Jason Tatum led all scorers with 55, breaking the scoring in an All-Star Game record, and he won the MVP. His stat line was 55 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, shooting 22 of 31 from the field, and he broke the All-Star Game single quarter record with 27 in the third. Do you guys have any thoughts about Tatum before we move on to like the main part of the All-Star Game?
I just think my thought would be, yes, he won the All-Star Game MVP, but that doesn't mean he's a regular season MVP. But like leading the,
So he isn't in the conversation.
he is in the conversation, but he's not leading it. And I know there's some people that are like, oh, he broke the all-time scoring record All-Star Game. That doesn't.
I don't think it
That
adds
doesn't
to it.
No, it
Yeah.
doesn't. It doesn't. Not that
It's-
All-Star Game is
Nothing.
It's
honestly
pretty
a joke.
insignificant.
It was a joke.
It's pretty
No, it
insignificant.
doesn't add to it.
It's pretty. They're knocking on that.
That's crazy.
Sorry, folks.
That's crazy.
Sorry, folks. We have
I
we
knew
got, we
that's
got
how
friends,
you-
we got friends in the room over.
But
So
we don't. It's not
Jason, wait, where was I? Oh, yeah. Let's talk about the Nuggets coach. So Denver Nuggets coach Mike Malone dubbed this All-Star Game as the worst basketball game ever played. And he is the coach of the number 1 seed in the West with a 5-game lead over the 2nd seed with a record of 41-18.
Why was that information relevant at all?
So
I don't know.
why was that?
I don't
Why
care.
was it? We already established he was the coach of the Nuggets. Why was that relevant to say they were in first place?
I don't know. I'm just I'm reading off the document that we have.
That's
Okay.
go off there.
But do you guys think this was? Do you agree or disagree with his assessment that it was the worst basketball game ever?
I said we each take a turn and say our opinion on it.
You want to go first? You didn't talk a lot.
Yeah, so basically, the All-Star game is supposed to be fun or whatever, but I think, sorry for swearing, but I think it was a bunch of bullshit. Like, you got people out there just, like, I get you don't want to get hurt or whatever, but, like, you play absolutely no defense. It's literally layup lines. Like, you just dribble up the court and you pull up for 3 or you go do a dunk, and it's like, congratulations, bro. Like,
Yeah, I mean
that doesn't mean anything.
We were sitting on the couch watching the highlights today,
And we're
I-
just laughing about it, like,
I
how
really
crazy it
thought
is.
like
What?
I literally thought to myself like the biggest problem is there's no real defense, and if you watch it, guys will just let the person the ball go past them and score. Maybe because they don't want to get hurt, but
That's what it is, but, like.
but this makes it literally the least competitive All-Star game of any sport.
It had the lowest viewership, right? Since like 2000
No, this was the lowest rated.
ever.
This was the lowest rated NBA All-Star game of all time.
Oh, I thought it was since 2000.
It was record low.
Yeah.
And the viewership ratings declined 29%, and
that's
viewership
honestly,
27%
it's
from
well
last
deserved.
year,
Honestly, it's well deserved.
which means they lost over a quarter of the people that were watching last year, which is crazy.
And at the
Like-
same time, too, like I get it. Like these are the best players in the league. Well, not all, like some guys get snubbed or whatever, but like we're seeing the same dudes every single year, just doing the same thing. Like it's getting a little boring.
Yeah, I totally agree. I don't know if like you could really quantify it and say it's the worst basketball game of all time. It's always been bad. I don't know why there was such a big discussion around it this year. It's just always been like this. They just never play defense. It's been since
Okay.
the 80s, 90s that they played any semblance of defense, really. Anyways,
I was
and a few
gonna-
years ago when they changed the format,
Sorry.
they changed the format. It used to be East-West, and now it's the top 2 guys get to pick their teams and stuff. And then they changed the way they did the scoring and stuff like that. And it became more competitive because they actually cared a little bit. And then now it's back to what it was. So it's something you can't really fix. And again, it's a thing like the NFL and like the NHL. These guys don't want to get hurt. It's in the middle of the season for the NBA guys. So it's like, who cares? It's like, I mean, it's an All-Star game. Nobody really cares.
Do you think like moving All-Star games like that to the end of the season
Not even like
would even
it'd have to
would
be
help?
like after.
like after the playoffs.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't think it would because the NFL it doesn't work.
That's what I'm
either.
saying. Like I
NFL
like,
doesn't work.
like after the finals, basketball is like that's it.
Yeah.
And then
What
they're
if-
just gonna be like, oh, like we're gonna have an all-star.
What if there was some
Cool.
incentive like there is in baseball? You know how like the winning side has
That's gone.
home field advantage.
That's gone now.
Well,
That's been gone.
Okay, yeah, but they used to have it, right? So what if you put some incentive like that in the NBA All-Star game and said like, you know, this team is going to have 4 out of the 7 games in the finals at home.
I also don't like that because
Wait, what?
if you're a 1 seed and you grind the whole year and you
Yeah,
win
like, what?
66
You earned it.
games and you lose 16 and you play a team that wins, let's say, is a 4 seed and maybe wins 47, they shouldn't get to host 4 games. They shouldn't get to host
I don't know.
game
You
7.
earn home
I guess
court
that's
advantage.
true. I guess that's
I
true.
never
But
liked it with the MLB.
Do you
guy.
think that would incentivize the players?
Can you finish with that?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I thought you were done.
I'm
Sorry.
done. It's okay. It's
Okay.
okay.
I was going to ask, do you think that would incentivize the players to play harder? Or
No.
no?
No, I don't think
No, I
they
don't
would. I think they would probably push against it very heavily, especially the top guys who are consistently at the top of the standings,
Yes.
teams like that. I mean, look at Denver, for example. Denver's playing every game like it's a game 7, and I applaud them. They're playing really well this year. They're working really hard to get home court because it's just a huge advantage. And now imagine if you had the East and West playing an All-Star game, and the East won, and let's say, I don't know, somehow the Cavs as a 4 seed won it, and they were playing Denver in the finals. The Cavs would get to host game 1 and game 7 if it went there. That doesn't seem
It's
fair.
crazy.
That doesn't
Yeah,
seem fair
it's
at all.
not fair.
I suppose when you explain it like that makes sense. But there has to be some way to
Just get rid of it. How about that?
there has to be some way to incentivize them to at least play defense because people aren't watching because it's not competitive, right? You look at some of the other All-Star games, like the NHL All-Star game is pretty competitive, and the MLB All-Star game.
But they don't play defense either.
The MLB All-Star game is certainly competitive.
That's the best All-Star game, I'd say.
The NFL Pro Bowl
But it's like the thing is like
is
you
almost now out of
can't
the
like
conversation.
not try in the MLB All-Star game
Yeah,
because it's pitching and hitting. Like you can't just go
Yeah.
out there and just like barely try to swing or barely try to pitch. It's like what? Like
yeah,
basketball, you just don't play defense. Like,
yeah. But that kind of defeats the whole point of an All-Star game altogether.
because it's supposed to
doesn't it?
show off the best of the best.
Yeah, because an All-Star game is supposed to be the best of the best, and you're supposed to, get excited because you want to see guys that don't usually play each other match up against each other.
Or people that don't typically play together,
Right. Right.
team up.
But when no one plays defense, it doesn't even matter because no one's competing against each other. They're just letting people score.
Exactly.
So, that's the biggest flaw with the NBA All-Star game as it is. So, how do you guys think they could make it better? And how do you think you could make it more interesting to fans and bring back some of the revenue that they've lost? Like from
Dude, at this
From
point,
losing viewers.
bro, I don't know. The only way would to be make it more competitive, but like I just don't see the guys actually playing the game doing that.
Do
Like
you
at the end
think-
of the day, it's their decision to try or not in the game.
do you think a cash incentive would help? Like
These
a
dudes are
large
making-
cash incentive?
What are you gonna say here, LeBron? Here's 100,000
Yeah.
for winning All-Star.
That's
Like,
nothing, bro. Dude is making like 44 million a year. Like,
Well, I'm talking like
That's
a large.
pocket
I'm talking
change.
like a large cash incentive. Like
well, they're just
They already
giving
have
out
that. I
10K
believe.
to
They
those
already
guys.
have stuff like that.
They don't they get paid for being all-star.
There's something. Well, it depends on
But
contracts, but some
I'm not
guys.
talking like thousands. I'm talking like $1 million, 2 million.
Yeah, that's hockey team. But they make that in a week. Hey,
But
Yeah.
stop making it.
Paul, I just want to ask, why are you so interested in keeping this? Because to me, we've just seen in the 4 major sports, at least, that it's a dying thing. It's really not something people care about. The audience cares about. Why do you want to keep it?
I don't know. I guess I'm a traditionalist, and I feel like All-Star games have the potential to be one of the coolest things in sports, and they should be. When they aren't, it's disappointing to me that they aren't. And my brain goes to, how do we make it so that it's not disappointing to people?
I mean, you
know
can-
what I mean?
You can see these guys play with each other when they play pickup ball, like on social media now. You
Yeah.
can see them when they play
Yeah.
in the Drew League and shit like that in LA and stuff like that. They will play with each other and they'll play in pro-ams and stuff like that. So we live in an era now where they play with each other constantly,
Yeah.
and we
And
can
it's like-
see it on social
And
media.
everything's on social media.
Yeah.
It's posted everywhere.
Do you think if they got rid of the All-Star game altogether, it would be good for the league? Anyone can answer. I don't.
I mean, they're making money from it at the same time,
Well,
so it's
exactly.
like
They're still making just.
it may
I mean,
not
yeah,
be
their
the best,
viewership's going down,
Especially in
they're
terms
making
of-
less money, but they're still making money from it.
so like they're
Yeah.
gonna keep it no matter what. But
You
like,
still got people buying tickets so their little kids can go watch the dunk contest and watch
Yeah.
a guy on a 2-way contract.
Speaking of the
10-day
dunk,
contracts.
speaking of the dunk
A lot of
contest, the Mac McClung thing is crazy. The fact that he was on a 10-day contract and that he's making 100,000 from the dunk contest and 106 in career earnings, 106,000 in career earnings. So
Good for him.
he made almost the same amount of career earnings from the dunk contest that he has his whole life, which is just
That
nuts.
is crazy.
And
Good for him though, I
do you
guess.
think he'll get signed again after that 10-day contract's up, or like I don't know anything about Mac.
I don't know.
He was a stud in high
I
school.
doubt it.
I remember watching.
I watched him play a lot when he was at Tech. He was
Oh,
at
Tech.
Texas Tech after Georgetown. He was always good. I always really liked him. He's a freak of an athlete,
He can-
obviously.
jump.
He's a
I
freak
know
of an
fucking
athlete. But
He's
What-
just like an average shooter.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
like
his
at the,
inability
to
at the NBA
score.
level, he's just
his
He has-
inability to
He
score.
has, and his defense is probably lacking too.
Do you
Yeah.
think the perception from the dunk contest changes anything or no?
What do you mean?
When he
Like, do you think the exposure he got from being in the dunk contest is going to
like helps benefit his
I
career.
doubt
I
Yeah.
would say
There's a chance.
he's already signed with Puma, I think he has a shoe deal now. So
So
He has a
financially,
shoe deal just from
good for
the
him.
dunk contest. That's cool.
Yeah, but if you can't compete at the NBA level just because
Yeah.
you win a dunk contest doesn't mean you can all of a sudden compete at the NBA level.
So are we in consensus that they should just get rid of the All-Star game altogether?
I wouldn't care.
I wouldn't care.
I don't watch.
I don't watch it. I don't
any
think
of the
I've
events
I don't think I've watched it.
I had
in
never.
a couple of years.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think I've watched it fully since Kobe's last year. Really, Kobe
Was
was
it-
last year in Toronto when there was the All-Star game was in Toronto.
because I just started paying attention to basketball recently. Was it better in that sort of era with Kobe and then before him MJ and in those era?
Well,
players?
I can speak to it. I think I've watched basketball like the NBA more as a kid, and I just like those guys, Carmelo, Kobe, that era more. I mean, there's still great talent.
I mean, there's an iconic photo. I think is it
LeBron,
LeBron guarding Kobe.
Kobe.
and Drake.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
those type of like all generation type talents, like
Yeah.
facing off like his
right.
cool. But you
in
don't really
Kobe's
see that
first
anymore.
year as an All-Star, he faced MJ.
Yeah, exactly.
That is true.
But you don't really see that type of stuff anymore.
Yeah, true.
Plus,
All
it's
right,
not an
so-
East-West game anymore. It's the top two guys. What is it? I think it's the top two vote getters.
Yeah,
It's also stupid too because like the fans have a say in it.
yeah,
It's
they
like,
can vote. I mean,
You
what,
could vote for
Andrew,
any-
Andrew Wiggins was in the All-Star
The
game.
fans have a saying in the MLB All-Star game, though.
I don't like it. Why should the fans get to vote for that? Why shouldn't the players?
Because it's
I
his
think
favorites. It's
the
not like
players
you're-
should get more input than they do get.
Fans should get
100%.
like barely any input into it.
fans. I
Because
don't
it's
even
just
like.
it's a bias. You're gonna pick your favorite players, or
That's
your
like the
favorite
NFL
team, even if they
Pro
aren't the best. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like the NFL Pro
It's-
Bowl.
I don't
not.
even like. The MLB has like writers.
How
and
was
shit.
John Carlos Stanton in All-Star last year?
Yeah, good point.
What are you at, like 230?
Yeah,
They're
point.
walking like behind the
I know, I saw.
No,
The MLB, like for example, the MLB Hall of Fame, it's writers and shit. It should be the Hall of Famers.
Yes.
The
Yeah,
NFL, it's
we-
the same
yes.
thing.
We talked about this on a previous episode.
Did you? This was back in the.
No, this was
This is when we talked about the MLB Hall of Fame ballot.
yeah. We talked about the MLB Hall of
They're
Fame
so
ballot
fucking
like a
weird,
few
bro.
episodes ago.
Fans, bro. We got fans.
We do have fans.